The Vets for Freedom National Heroes Tour rolled into Kansas City for a town hall forum at the World War I Museum and Memorial.
We've been on tour for over a week now. We kicked it off in San Diego on the 14th and moved down to LA and then to Phoenix and Tucson, down to San Antonio and Austin. We took the Easter break off. We started back up in Minneapolis, down through Des Moines, and then today we're in Kansas City.
The forum at the World War I Museum provides a fitting contrast for how America, the media, and the entertainment industry treats the new generation of combat heroes. In World War I, Sergeant Alvin York was awarded the Medal of Honor. Upon returning to the U.S., York was a celebrity, offered many endorsement contracts, movie deals, and lauded by the glitterati of the time. Sergeant York was a household name. But today's heroes weren't allowed to speak at a high school in Minnesota.
Well, the day before, actually the evening before, at about 3 o'clock, I got a call from the principal, and he said, we're going to have to cancel the event because I've received some emails and phone calls saying that people think this might be too political. And it wasn't many emails and phone calls. There were about, he told me at that time, 6 emails he had received. I think that email, the number's gone up now, and it wasn't community members. There were a few family members and parents that called in. It was mostly people from outside the school district, outside Forest Lake, an email campaign put on by the Democratic Underground and Veterans for Peace saying, these veterans shouldn't be in the school, and unfortunately the principal caved to that pressure and said, we're not going to hold this, it might become political. So we were not allowed to attend.
The story of Sergeant York contrasts with the story of Sergeant David Bellavia. In World War I, York was originally awarded the Distinguished Service Cross for his role in capturing 132 German soldiers, attacking machine gun positions, and killing 9 Germans. Shortly after, the award was upgraded to the Medal of Honor. David Bellavia has been nominated for the Distinguished Service Cross and the Medal of Honor for his actions in a fierce, urban hand-to-hand fight against terrorists in the Battle of Fallujah. Bellavia went into a house full of terrorists. Only Bellavia came out alive. But in the 90 years since World War I, the way combat heroes are treated has changed dramatically.
Have our guys tell their stories, talk about what's going on in Iraq and Afghanistan, why we put the uniform on, why we fight for our country, what it means to us, and share it with 150 social studies students. And that was really the idea, is bring in guys like David Bellavia who are walking history books and have them tell their stories.
What has changed in America that combat heroes like York were once celebrated but are now ignored?
And in a society that doesn't necessarily want to draw a right or a wrong, or an up and a down, or a just or an unjust, sometimes people hesitate from saying this person is a hero, or this person has done the right thing, or has fought for the right reasons. It means personifying what is right or what is wrong, personifying what is virtuous and what is not virtuous. And to call someone a hero means you're talking about and you're recognizing they've done heroic, important, meaningful things.
Bellavia, being a combat hero, has a personal insight into the phenomenon.
We want to support warriors, but we're uncomfortable with what they do. When have we ever taken a hero on the battlefield and put him up on a pedestal that we would put up an athlete? We're comfortable with athletes. We're comfortable with what they do. We know where they're at. I'm a soccer coach, my son's 8-year-old soccer team, and no one knew what I did. I never talked about it. I told my son I went to the desert with the lizards. He doesn't know anything. He doesn't need to know. But my story came out around the time the book came out, and parents were horrified. Horrified. They're like, "You what?" It wasn't a matter of the fact that I served honorably or I was in a fight. I can't control what happens, but that was the response. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. You almost feel like people don't look at you the same way again. I think a lot of people are kind of worried about when is that violence going to come out, as if it's bottled up. It's unsettling.
The Vets for Freedom Heroes Tour will not be deterred and will continue their national tour until they reach Washington, D.C.
We just feel like we need to do everything we can to go from coast to coast, and highlighting guys like David Bellavia and Tom Parks and Marcus Luttrell and Jeremiah Workman, guys that have given so much for their country and can really articulate it. And also, we're not just highlighting their service and sacrifice, but we're highlighting our dedication to completing these important missions in Iraq and Afghanistan.
But you know what? That Constitution that we have isn't worth the ink it's written with unless it's backed up by blood.